PlayStation portals are currently completely useless. No cloud gaming, no remote play, nothing. Portal owners, this is exactly what we feared. But why is this happening? Because an all-digital gaming world honestly sucks. The PlayStation network is completely down, and what are Sony saying about this? Silence. We haven't heard a thing from them. This is why an all-digital future is a disaster waiting to happen. Now close your eyes and imagine waking up to find your complete gaming library totally inaccessible and your expensive gaming hardware completely worthless. This just isn't a temporary outage, this is a big warning. Stick around because we're breaking down what's going on and why physical games need to make a comeback before it's too late. So if you've tried your PlayStation Portal or just your PlayStation 5 today, you will realise that nothing is working. PSN is completely down all over the world it seems. No PlayStation Network, which means, especially on the Portal, no cloud gaming. So if you've bought a PlayStation Portal and you don't have a PS5 and you're just using this for the cloud streaming beta, you can do nothing with it. This is it on right now. This is all you can get is this line across the screen. I took a picture earlier of what message popped up and it asked me to log back in. So I clicked on that. This is all I have. The white screen of death, the white line of death. That's what we could maybe call this. So does absolutely nothing. You see that? Press the buttons. Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So no cloud streaming beta action for any Portal owners. And even more annoyingly and surprisingly, if you have a PlayStation 5, you would think, well, I can just play on my Portal via remote play. Nah, this does not allow you to even connect to remote play right now. This is literally all you get is this line on the screen. And Sony have told us absolutely nothing. At the time of recording this video, the outage has been over 15 hours. So that is quite a long time for absolutely no gaming action on your PS5 or your Portal. And it's really funny, even on Reddit, I mean, people are being forced to talk to their family and friends. People are being forced to read books. Imagine having to read a book instead of playing your PlayStation. Sony, sort it out. So this raises the question, what if this lasts for days or even weeks? And some of you might think, this will never last for days or weeks, but we will talk about later, this kind of thing has happened before. This outage is a perfect time for me to raise the question to you, do you trust Sony with an all-digital future? Not just Sony, like Xbox, Nintendo, Steam, whoever, anyone who's publishing these games, do you trust them? Or should we be fighting to keep physical games alive? Now we will discuss all this a little bit more in the video, but I'd love to know your comments right now down below. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So the bigger problem with an all-digital future, and it's not just about today is a nice warning bell though, is this push towards digital and cloud gaming makes us gamers completely dependent on Sony's servers. As we can see right now, if this is all I had, I wouldn't be able to play any video games today. It is like a brick, like actually does nothing. Not an exaggeration, it actually does nothing right now. And luckily I do have an Xbox and a Switch and a PC, so I'm just playing my games on them. Well, the PlayStation is, I don't even know what they're doing. It's not doing a lot anyway, but it ain't playing any games, let me tell you that. Now, physical games, unfortunately, they often require a download. So the disc doesn't have the game on it. It is literally like a token for you to download the game from the PlayStation Store, which sucks. What happens when these servers go down? What happens when Sony decides we don't want to sell this game anymore? If we move to that all digital future, you don't own anything. You are literally just renting the game, which sucks. And there's a perfect example here of an amazing game, which you can't buy right now. Drive Club. This is a super underrated, it's an absolutely stunning game. It didn't do as well as it should have, but really, really stunning game. Amazing graphics. I play it via remote play on my Portal or just on my PlayStation 4 or 5. It is fantastic, but it has been delisted. You cannot buy this digitally. You need to get a physical copy. And there's tons of examples of games this has happened to. You can probably tell me some down below in the comments. But we do not want to be dependent on a company deciding if we can play or keep a game which, you know, is on their servers. It just absolutely sucks. And we need to be mindful of this because this is happening more and more as we are being basically pushed towards this future. There's many examples. You've got Xbox is pretty much already there. I'd be surprised if they launch their next console with a disc drive. They just want everyone on Game Pass renting their games all the time, which, I mean, Game Pass currently is good value, but when they've got everyone locked in and all these games from all these studios they've bought, and they decide, here, we just need to start firing the price up, who's going to be paying a heck of a lot of money to rent a ton of games? Us. Same with PlayStation, with PS Plus, in particular Premium, which has, you know, cloud streaming locked behind it. If that ends up being the go-to and that's the only way you can play cloud games from this, maybe you can't play ones that you buy that are digital. I don't like that future. It is not fun for us, the consumer. We pretty much give up all our power and it's just over to the companies to do the right thing when all they're interested in is making a ton of money. So it's risky. I don't like it. I'd far rather we get a new PlayStation Portal 2 soon. That would be cool, which has physical media. Just give us cartridges like the Nintendo Switch has. You can get cartridges now which have a ton of storage in them. Get the games on there, the full game, bang. Job is a good one. That is what I would want to happen. So this raises another question for us. What if this was permanent? So games have already disappeared, like we said there with Drive Club. There's many other ones. Let me know some down below in the comments. And physical owners were the only ones who could still play. That is the way it is currently. But if physical games go away, when the games get removed digitally, we ain't going to be able to play these games anymore. They're just gone. That is not a future I want a part of, and neither should you. If today's outage where the Portal has been rendered useless, which is a perfect example of a digital-only gaming world, has this made you rethink living in a digital-only future for gaming? If not, what will make you rethink this? Or are you just all in digital and you don't care about preserving physical games? Let me know. This is a big discussion point. Lots of good discussions in the comments, please, because I can't wait to hear everyone's point of view on this. I said earlier, what if this outage lasts, you know, a couple more hours, a couple more days, a couple of weeks? Some people might be thinking, there might be some younger viewers thinking, no way, that will never happen. Well, something like this has happened before, and it lasted weeks. I remember this. I was there. I remember getting given some free games from PlayStation for basically for them apologizing for the outage of PSN. Yes, PSN had a major outage like this, which was a hack. Which means what's happening right now, we have no idea what it is, but it could be even worse than we realise, because back then in 2011, over 77 million PlayStation accounts were compromised. Personal info, credit card info, everything, you name it, was lost in this hack. We've no confirmation yet, but if this is another breach, what does that mean for players and their confidence in, you know, digital gaming service providers going forward? Why do they need all this information? I just want to buy my game. You know, if I buy this physically at a store, they don't need to know anything about me. If you buy it through all these digital services, they have all your information. So what if this outage isn't just temporary for an hour or two and it does last a couple of days or a couple of weeks, which means your Portal, if that's all you use, is out of action for weeks? How are you going to feel about this? Does this remind you of the 2011 hack at all? Were any of you there in 2011? Were you PlayStation gamers? I'm sure that was PS3 I had back then. So let me know if you think we're heading for another disaster in the comments, or if this is just a glitch, which hopefully it will be sorted soon. And as soon as we hear from Sony, I'll let you all know. So make sure you subscribe because we discuss all things PlayStation here on the channel. Now, I know a lot of people buy all digital consoles. I think it's a bad move. I always say you should always buy one with a disc drive. It gives you so many more options because there is a hidden cost to an all digital future, which we're going to discuss right now. So let's talk about the real cost of digital gaming. Right now, you can buy physical games. Yes, physical games. So let's give an example. Much cheaper in sales on, like Amazon or in any stores you go to than buying them from the PlayStation Network. You can also trade them. You can sell them again, on eBay or whatever, and you can buy them used, which is even cheaper again. Digital only players are locked into Sony's pricing, which is a lot higher, especially for new games for the first year or so, if not ever. It seems to always be higher, apart from when they have, big sales for games which are ancient. But there's no second-hand market either, and no discount beyond what Sony allows. I remember when this launched, I got this for £25 or $25 from Amazon, and it was a lot cheaper than buying it from PSN. I do that with all my games. I don't buy digital games from PlayStation Network unless it's games I physically can't buy, like, some indie games I like to support, like Vampire Survivors. I can't buy that physically, so I'll buy it digitally. But on the whole, all the bigger games, so like my God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, I buy all these games physically. You get them much cheaper, and then you've got, plus the games, physical games are so cool, having the box, the artwork. I just love it. It's cool to have it in your collection. And you just don't get any of this with digital. You're basically renting a game. And I know a lot of people will say with physical games, you're just buying like a blank disc and then it's a token to download it. That is true, but we will talk about how we can fix this in the future as well, and why we need to be aware of these things so we have a much better gaming future. So, do you think digital convenience, because I know digital gaming can be much more convenient. You don't need to get up and change your discs because everyone is so lazy these days. You do not need to, worry about going to the shop to buy the game. You can just buy it right away from a digital store. It downloads and then you can flick between your games just using your controller. But is that digital convenience worth paying the higher price in the long run? Let me know your thoughts. And tying into the whole digital gaming world is the subscription trap. A lot of people, myself included, are fed up with subscribing to a million different services. And PlayStation is pushing PlayStation Plus Premium big time and cloud gaming, and they are both intertwined. So if you want to play on your PlayStation Portal, still not working, you want to play cloud gaming on that, guess what? You need PlayStation Plus Premium, which is the most expensive tier of the service available, which means they want players to be renting the games, not owning them. If you stop paying for PlayStation Plus, you lose access to that entire library of games, just kind of like Netflix pulling all your favorite shows overnight. And even all your free games you've claimed on PS Plus Essential or Extra or Premium tier every month, which you get to keep in your library. You've probably built up a massive library of games. I know I have. If you cancel your PlayStation Plus subscription tier, you don't get access to any of them. They are locked. They are behind a paywall. So you are again renting access to these games. Whereas if you buy the game, fire them in and just play them whenever. I guess that's probably not the best example. You need PSN to play online, but you know what I mean. It is far better to own your games and then you have the control over them for the future. So how do you all feel about this renting games? So you stop paying and then your favorite games just disappear because you no longer are renting or paying for that subscription. How do you all feel about that? Is everyone now just so used to that and so conditioned that that is just the norm, that it doesn't bother people? Or is that something that kind of bugs you? Well, we're having a bad day because there's no PSN. How about some good news? The channel has hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. And as I said, we have unlocked channel memberships. So channel memberships are available for you to support the channel if you wish, where you get access to a whole bunch of cool perks for $1.99. So less than the price of a coffee per month. You can get some cool loyalty badges next to your name, exclusive emojis, member only videos. But my favorite is the member badges, because if you have what it takes, you could get a platinum trophy next to your name. Anyways, back to the story. Now, this has been a deep discussion and one we need to have, which leads us on to the big important question of why we need physical games to survive. And when I say physical games, what do I mean? Well, I don't mean a game you put in your disk drive and then it just downloads the game from the e-store, from the PlayStation store. That is not what we want. What we want and what we need to be fighting for and being more vocal about to these companies is we want true physical games on disk. So that's full data on disk should be the standard again. Like if I pick up some of these old PlayStation games, if I pick up GTA anywhere in the world, if I buy the PlayStation version of this and put it in my PlayStation, guess what? It will play with no internet. That is the way physical games should be. We've kind of slowly but steadily and very stealthily been led down this path. I've lost for words here. The one thing I hate more than anything, have you seen in stores where you see, I think I've seen this more with Switch games, where it's a box and it says code only in box. Why the hell would I buy a physical game that's only got a bit of paper with a code in it to claim the game? That is the stupidest, worst idea ever. It needs to stop. But I was saying we have been stealthily led down this path where we accept that we buy this disc, they print it, I don't know when they make the discs, must be well in advance. The game's still not finished. They're still trying to work the game, get the game working and finished right up to launch day. They launch the game. I'm not talking about this game in particular, just as an example. The game comes out and the game's broken and we need to wait for patch after patch. It's like, no, what is this all about? Rein in your expectations. Stop making crazy wild games that, you can't deliver on. Deliver on your promises and get the full game on the disc the way it's meant to be. If it doesn't fit, launch it with multiple discs. Remember on PS1, Final Fantasy VII, it was on, 3 discs? I think they're doing that just now with the new Final Fantasy VII, Chapter 3, I can't remember what it's called, the one after Rebirth. I think they're launching that with multiple discs. That's the way it should be. All the data is on the disc. Also, no online check-ins like forced handshakes or downloads. Just plug and play, put the disc in and let the people who have bought the game on disc play it with no internet connection required, unless it's a multiplayer game, obviously. But most of the games, there's no need for this. It is just I think it is just pure data harvesting and control, which less of that, the better, people. Digital and cloud, though, should still be options, but not at the expense of physical media. The future we want is options for us all, so we can decide where we want to play, when we want to play, and how we want to play, not have that dictated to us by companies which will shove us down the option which they can charge us the most money for and make the most profit, no matter what the expense is to us. That is not what we want, because imagine a future where we don't get physical games or cartridges anymore, no discs, just like codes in a box, like I was saying, or a card or something. Do we really want that? I know I don't. That sounds like it absolutely sucks. Even from a game preservation point of view, imagine games which you played when you were a kid, and now you have a child and you want to show them the games you played. Potentially with a digital only world, you can't do that. That's rubbish. That really sucks. I don't want any part of that. Like, for real, you can see I've got a lot of OG stuff here I like buying and collecting because it's great fun. Total nostalgia, I love it. But we really need to be mindful of the road we're going down with this, digital only. And the worst one is just cloud only. If it was cloud only, I think I may need to just retire from games and just play retro games all the time. But it is well worth discussing because we just need to ask ourselves, this outage, this is what an all digital cloud streaming future would look like. We cannot have this being the only option. No way. So did this outage change your mind at all about owning physical games? I'm really curious. Let me know in the comments. So what is this future we are facing looking like? What could it be like? Based on the path we're going down right now, let's just imagine a few things. Close your eyes. Imagine a world where kids can only get digital codes for their birthdays and Christmas instead of opening up physical games on Christmas Day. That would absolutely suck. Imagine just getting like a code instead of having, tearing the wrapping paper off. Look at this game. Oh, wow, look at this. Amazing. And this applies for hardware. Imagine a future where, well, it's all cloud. You don't need your console. Opening a console is one of the best things ever. We do not want that future. We need to protect that for everyone. Trust me. Then, retail game sales would just disappear. You've probably noticed that. In the stores I shop in, the gaming section has got smaller and smaller and smaller to the point now it is relegated to a tiny corner up the back of the store. And it's just so sad to see. It used to be a full aisle of games, which was just incredible. Not anymore. And the closer we get to that disappearing and your only option buying games online from, PlayStation Store, you then become locked into Sony's pricing forever. We do not want that. Trust me, you might think I'm being just an idiot here, but trust me, it is not a good future for us. Companies are here to make money. They're not our friends. Let's remember that. And this is not me bashing Sony. This is the whole gaming industry is going this way. This is just a great reminder as to why we do not want to go to that future. So that is why we're discussing Sony right now. And if this outage teaches us anything, it's that relying on digital games only is a mistake. If we lose physical games, what's next? Will we even own our consoles? Will they try and rent us consoles? I don't even think it will go that route. I think it will go worse. I think it will be just we download an app on your TV and just stream all your PlayStation games from the cloud. You own nothing. It'll all be behind a rented paywall. That absolutely sucks. I know I don't want that future. Share your thoughts down below.